Welcome to the Fifth Estate News Breakdown. We simplify, we break down. I am 2M. Sunday, 10th March, the world woke up to news that Ethiopian Airlines flight ET302 from Addis to Nairobi went down and killed all on board. Here at the Fifth Estate TV, we would want to send our condolences to all those that have been affected by this tragic event. But even as we do this, we want to point out three issues that have occurred since the tragic accident. The first is the fake news on social media, showing old footage and portraying it like it was that which happened to ET302. Second is the potential cause of the crash and why Boeing systems are on the spot. And third, the Western shaming of Africa's aviation record. Thank you for joining us. My name is 2M again. The Ethiopia Flight 302 tragedy has attracted fake stories on social media. It began with footage of a stalling aircraft that was said to be the fateful Ethiopian plane. The footage, however, is from April 2013 and is that of a cargo plane in Afghanistan crashing to the ground and bursting into flames. It is not footage of flight ET302 crashing. More footage, said to be from the Sunday crash, shows a panoramic view of a plane with huge holes on its roof. The plane on this picture is a crash from a different airline, Asiana Airlines, which happened in the US in 2013. In the same vein, there is a video showing hysteria on an Ethiopian plane. The truth is, no one has independently verified the authenticity of this video. However, we would want to ask some questions. How would someone take a video when flight analysis or flight analysts indicate that in the 6 minutes the flight was in the air, it was flying in an erratic manner? Second, the takeoff time of ET302 flight was 8:32 a.m. There would be some sunlight coming from the window seats. The video, however, shows the flight could have been flying at night and not in the morning. This can be determined by seeing through the window seats in the video. In the era of social media, it is easy to believe footage that is not relevant to a particular event. Here at the Fifth Estate, we lift the veil of ignorance and state the facts as they are. Again, we take a moment to honor the victims and their families at this difficult time. In the second part of the breakdown, we want to point out the potential factors that could have led to the crash. We will outline three events that happened within the timeline of 6 months and happened in different continents, specifically three. Allow us to break this down. 1. Just 5 months ago, a similar plane, a Lion Air Boeing 737 MAX 8, crashed in Indonesia, killing all 189 passengers on board. Both planes were new. A couple of days ago, another Boeing 737 was forced to make an emergency landing at New Jersey Airport after smoke filled its cargo compartment. 2. China, India, France, Singapore, Malaysia, UK, Oman, Germany, Australia, and Ethiopia have suspended their Boeing 737 MAX 8 fleet, citing safety considerations. And 3. A month after the Indonesian crash, 2 US pilot unions say that the potential risk of a safety feature on the Boeing 737 MAX 8 that has been linked to the crash in Indonesia weren't sufficiently spelled out in their manuals or training. So the question we ask, therefore, is this: is there something fundamentally wrong with the build of this plane? Is a safety feature known as Maneuvering Characteristic Augmentation System, MCAS, diluting pilot control. In simulation videos depicting what could have happened in the Indonesian crash, seen by Fifth Estate TV, the system is designed to prevent the stalling of a plane. A stall is when there is not enough air flowing over the wings to achieve the amount of lift necessary to keep the plane flying. In the simulation, MCAS seems to kick in when the plane's angle of attack is high, and therefore pushes the nose down to reduce the risk of the plane stalling. The only way to stop MCAS from working is for the pilot to manually trim the plane lower until MCAS's need to adjust the nose down is no longer necessary. If this is true, then what could have gone wrong? In the case of the Indonesian crash, data based on partial release of flight data, MCAS appeared to have mistakenly censored a looming stall and tried to force the plane's nose down. The pilots responded by pulling the plane's nose up again, only to have the MCAS system force the plane's nose down again. In effect, the pilots were fighting software that was inadvertently trying to kill them. Peter Lem, an experienced aeronautics executive and engineer, estimated that the pilots fought with the MCAS software 26 times before finally losing control and plunging the Lion Air 737 MAX into the Java Sea, killing all 189 passengers on board. It is thought that an angle of attack sensor passed bad readings to the automatic MCAS, which downed the plane as a result. One of these sensors was replaced before its penultimate flight after producing dodgy figures. Boeing and the US watchdog, the Federal Aviation Administration, the FAA, issued a warning after the crash to say faulty sensors can cause 737 MAX to nosedive. The existence of the MCAS systems is also said to have caught pilots by surprise. American Airlines in November 2018 said in a statement that it was unaware of some of the functionality of the maneuvering characteristic augmentation system installed on the MAX 8. Indonesian investigators stated that the situation the crew of the Lion Air jet was believed to have faced was not contained in the aircraft's flight manual. On the flip, the Ethiopia crash may have been caused by something totally different from what we have outlined. And this would lead us to think what mechanisms may have been proposed to prevent an air crash from happening. Do we have a solution for plane crashes? And why should the world always go for Boeing or Airbus when thinking of commercial flying? A Russian man, Vladimir Tatarenko, has designed an aircraft with detachable cabins that release themselves from the landing plane in emergency situations. During takeoff, landing, or flight, the redesigned cabin detaches from the plane and safely lands on the ground or water, saving everyone's lives on board. It may be expensive to manufacture Vladimir's plane on an industrial scale, but who knows what the man may have just invented to save the future of flying. Lastly, the Western shaming of Africa's aviation record has showed its ugly side again. Ethiopia's flight safety record was put in question. British anchor Maria Ramos, in a Turkish TV broadcast, asserted that Ethiopian Airlines had a poor safety record historically, in a nutshell saying that the 1996 hijacking attempt made the African airline categorically unsafe. Let us debunk this analogy. Ethiopian Airlines has had only 2 accidents post the year 2000. In total, ET has had 4 crashes. On the other hand, Lion Air from Indonesia have averaged 1 accident or incident every year from the year 2002. In fact, Lion Air has had incidents and accidents in the year 2002, 2004, 2006, 2007, 2 in 2009, 2010, 2 in 2013, 2014, 2016, 2017, 3 in 2018, and 1 in 2019. The most recent accident or incident Lion Air has had was on February 16, 2019. And the question we ask is, whose safety record is worse? That was the news breakdown. I am 2M. See you tomorrow.